Hello dear students, welcome back. Let us continue with the bryophytes. So yesterday we have seen, based on thallus morphology, bryophytes are traditionally divided into liverworts, hornworts and mosses. So first we will see the characteristics of the liverworts. They belong to class Hepaticopsida. The members belonging to the genus Rixia, Mercantia are examples of liverworts. You can see the image of Rixia as well as the Mercantia are examples of liverworts. They are smaller plants than mosses. Their name dates from the 9th century. In those times, it was thought that because of the liver-shaped outline of the thallus, these plants might be useful for treating diseases of the liver. So you can see the structure here, just the thallus. In this way, this Rixia seems to be appear. The word wort, W-O-R-T, wort, means small plant. The main plant body is thallus, like dorsiventrally flattened. The thallus are dorsiventrally flattened. Dorsiventral means having distinct upper and lower surfaces. You can see here in this picture having distinct upper and lower surfaces. In the case of this leaf you can see. And also you can see the image of Rixia growing here. See how does it grows. Some members of bryophytes have tiny leaf-like structures in two rows on the stem-like structure. The plant body is closely attached to the substratum by unicellular rhizoids. You can see the image of the rhizoids here. The most common method of asexual reproduction in liverworts is by fragmentation of thallus. For example, in Rixia, you can see the image here. When the thallus gets older, it starts to dry out from the center. See? As it reaches near the tips of the thallus, they start to form a new individual thallus. From this picture, there can be at least 4 new thalloids. You can see here 4 new thalloids. The second method of the asexual reproduction is by gemme. In members of genus Mercantia, there are tiny asexual buds called gemme in a tiny cup-like structure called gemmica. You can see the image here. Here is a closed view of gemmica. In a gemmica, there are many gemme. Singular form is gemma. Each gemma is a tiny green discoid shaped. You can see the image of asexual bud here. Whenever I see a gemme, first thing that comes to my mind is a bird's nest with some eggs in it. How an egg does hatch into its bird, it is in the same way each gemme germinates into a new thallus. Also remember that gemme will get first detached from the parent body before germinating. Usually the gemme present in the male thallus produces male plants and those on female thallus produces female plants. Now let's learn about the sexual reproduction life cycle of liverworts. We will start from the spores. You can see the spores here, though it is little smaller. Where the dots I have put, there are the spores. Spores germinate into the male plant body, which is a gametophyte. In Mercantia, the female gametophyte or thallus has erect umbrella-headed structure called archegonium. You can see the image here of female gametophyte and umbrella-headed shape. Archegonium contains the egg cell or the female gamete. The female gametophyte or the thallus has these headed stalks called anthridiophores. You can see here the anthridiophores. Anthridiophores bears many antheridia. Antheridia produce the male gametes or sperm. The sperms will be swimming through the water and reaches the egg cell. You can see it here. The nuclei of egg and sperm will fuse together and form a zygote inside the archegonium. The archegonium enlarges and forms the sporophyte or the spore bearing structures, the sporangium. You can see here. The sporangium or the spore producing body of the sporophyte develops into a capsule. See the capsule here. I hope you might have understood the life cycle of Mercantia. I can explain it once again. We will start from the spores. You can see the spores here. I'll just put the dots over there. Spores germinate into the male plant body, which is a gametophyte. So you can see here the male gametophyte. In Mercantia, the female gametophyte or thallus has erect umbrella-headed structure called archegonium. You can see here. Archegonium are seen beneath these umbrella-like head. You can see here. Archegonia are seen beneath this umbrella-like head. Archegonia contains the egg cell or the female gamete. You can see the image here. The male gametophyte or the thallus has this headed stalks called anthridiophores. Anthridiophores bears many antheridia. Antheridia produce the male gametes or sperms. The sperms then will be swimming through the water and reaches the egg cell. The nuclei of egg and sperm fuses and a zygote is formed inside the archegonium. You can see here in the image. The archegonium enlarges and forms the sporophyte. See here. The spore bearing structure are called the sporophyte. The sporangium or the spore producing body of the sporophyte develops into a capsule. Hope you might have understood. So now the archegoniophore also have capsules. Capsules also contain elongated cells or elaters. You can see the image here. Elaters are sensitive to moisture when the capsule becomes mature and dry. And the dry elaters will create a twisting action and help in the dehiscence. Spontaneous opening of the capsules and thereby dispersal of the spores. You can see here the spontaneous opening of the capsules and the dispersal of the spores is being taking place here. Here in this picture you can see a mature capsule which has just undergone dehiscence. I have shown here already. The released spores will germinate into either to form a male or the female thallus. That's all for today. We will continue with the next class, that is not class, based on the morphology. We have divided traditionally into 3, as I have told in the introduction part of liverworts, and tomorrow we will see the second part, that is of hornworts. Thank you.